Okay, it's now a few minutes after the hour, so I think we'll go ahead and get started, and I'm sure more people will be continuing to join in the next few minutes. So welcome everyone. Let me turn my video on and say hi. Hi everyone. I'm Katie Schwartz from FHI 360. Welcome to the West Africa PrEP Learning Network. Today's session, we are going to focus on the role of HIV prevention ambassadors and PrEP champions and how HIV prevention ambassadors can be engaged to increase awareness and build awareness of PrEP methods and create demand for PrEP methods in their communities. We will also review a training package developed by the Choice Collaboration for training HIV prevention ambassadors and how this training package was adapted for use by the EPIC program in Ghana. So this webinar does have an interpretation feature. If everyone could go to the globe at the bottom of your screen and then select either English or French, depending on what language you'd like to hear. We want to make sure that everybody selects either English or French channel, and then you can listen in the language of your choice. Okay, so if you could please introduce yourself in the chat box. It looks like we have nearly 40 people joining, so welcome. Please feel free to introduce yourself, your name, where you're from, your role, anything you'd like to share with the group. I also wanted to make sure that everybody is aware of the different reaction features in the chat. If you go to the chat icon or the reactions at the bottom of your screen, you can give a thumbs up. Oops, if we could just go back one. Great. So this, just to make sure that everyone is oriented to the West Africa Regional PrEP Learning Network, there is a space on PrEP Watch that has all of the previous recordings of this from these webinars, as well as slide decks. And the link to the PrEP Watch site is here on the screen. And to receive updates and information for the network, there is a listserv that you are welcome to join as well. Okay, next slide. So key topics for this webinar series are along the oral PrEP introduction framework, spanning planning and budgeting through to monitoring. Today's session will focus particularly on uptake and effective use of PrEP methods and the engagement of PrEP champions and HIV prevention methods to increase uptake and help support effective use. As a reminder to those who are just joining, there is an interpretation feature available on this webinar. If you use the, go to the interpretation globe at the bottom of your screen, you can select whether to listen to this webinar in English or in French. So everyone should choose one language, and it helps to mute original audio as well to make sure that everything is very clear. So the agenda for today will be a brief overview on the HIV Prevention Ambassador Training Package provided by Definite Namo from Pangea Zimbabwe AIDS Trust. Trudy Nunu will discuss the training and the engagement of PrEP champions in Ghana. And then we will hear from a PrEP champion who is trained through the EPIC program, Fifi Asamoah. There'll be a short break for questions and answers, and then we will go into breakout rooms to discuss the training package and the process for starting an HIV Prevention Ambassador program, and dive a little bit more deeper into follow-up from the conversations and into the training package a bit more. And then we'll regroup together as a group and wrap it up. So thank you to to Definite, Trudy, and Fifi for speaking today. We look forward to hearing from you in just a bit. Next slide. And once again, the interpretation feature, I hope everyone is there. Please do feel free to message in the chat to either Casey Bishop or myself, though, if you aren't in the right space. Okay. And with that, I will turn it over to you, Definite, to walk us through the training package. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Casey. And hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. So I'll just give a brief overview on the HIV Prevention Ambassador training package and toolkit. And just to give a backdrop, the HIV Prevention Ambassador training package was really designed for community-based organizations to train HIV prevention ambassadors. And an ambassador can be a young woman who's helping with mobilization, giving information about HIV prevention to their peers. So that's what we refer to as ambassadors. And the goal is really to promote meaningful engagement of communities and potential and current PrEP users in the rollout of oral PrEP and HIV prevention. And this package can also be used for any key or priority population. So we're talking about sex workers, male, female sex workers, trans populations, any population group that you consider as a key population or priority population, depending on your context. And this package is available in both English and French. Next slide, please. And in terms of the HIV prevention training package and toolkit, it includes very interactive activities. It also includes points of discussion and action planning for those who are using the tool to prepare the ambassadors to share information with their peers about oral PrEP as part of HIV prevention combination. So what's critical there is to underline that it's offering PrEP, but we are not taking away all the HIV prevention options that are available, but we are adding to that toolkit. And ambassadors through this training package are able to gain skills to support their peers who are interested in using PrEP and to build community support around oral PrEP. So they talk about the various HIV prevention options that are available, including PrEPs, and give information to their peers. And the training includes some foundational knowledge on sexual and reproductive health, human rights, gender, violence, and HIV transmission. Next slide, please. So there are 3 components to this training package, and I'll talk briefly about each and every component. So the first component of this package is preparing the facilitator to deliver this training package. So it has information that can be used as pre-reads for the facilitator so that they know what's entailed in the package before they actually deliver the package to their peers. So it has a lot of facilitation tips and guidance about preparing various sessions and what they need before as they prepare for each and every session. So that's the first part. And the second part is the actual training manual, which is very comprehensive and is for facilitators to train individuals to become HIV prevention ambassadors. And the manual includes information on each topic, and it's got detailed sessions and training materials that's accompanying it. And then the third part, the third and final part, is that what we call the ambassador toolkit. And this is a separate booklet for participants. That includes the materials they'll use during the training, as well as tools they'll use for their roles as ambassadors. So they can use this as reference materials as they cascade information to their peers. This booklet can be used as a quick reference for the various sections, and it's got various interactive activities that they can also do. Next slide, please. So just taking a closer look at what the training package actually entails. So you find that there's the facilitation preparation part, which is part 1. And this has information looking at how do you identify an ambassador? What are the qualities that you're looking for when you're looking for an ambassador? So it gives the facilitators some guidance on what qualities we are looking for as we are looking for ambassadors. And it's got training preparation materials and facilitation tips to prepare the facilitator to deliver the package. And the training manual, it's got various sections. So the first section is the introductory session, which gives the overview of the training materials. Then we go into the foundational knowledge, which is broken down into human rights, HIV and AIDS, the basic information, the biological vulnerability to HIV. It's got a session on gender-based stigma, discrimination, and violence. And a session on disclosure of violence. Then the next part looks at oral PrEP. So we're looking at essential knowledge around oral PrEP. We're looking at delivering oral PrEP within combination prevention framework. So it means layering, adding oral PrEP to the already existing HIV prevention package. It's got information on how to find out about oral PrEP. Where do you find oral PrEP within your context? How do you know this facility is offering oral PrEP? How to decide on whether or not oral PrEP is for you or not. Getting onto oral PrEP, how you start on oral PrEP, how do you start taking oral PrEP, taking and staying on oral PrEP. So it's got tips on continuation, how to continue on oral PrEP, and how do you tell others if you want to disclose, how do you do this? It's got various tips on how to disclose, and raising awareness around oral PrEP. How do you tell others about oral PrEP? How do you advocate for oral PrEP? And it's got a section on action planning. What are the action? What are the next steps from there after you have all this information? And then it also has a section on ambassador skills where we talk about peer support skills. How do you support your peers who are on PrEP? How do you set boundaries so that you do not get burnt out? How do you know where to start and where to stop? How do you draw the lines given that these are peers? How can they draw some parameters so that they don't get overburdened as ambassadors trying to help their peers? And then it's got a closing session where there's an interesting section on graduation for ambassadors, just to cap it and say, you now have the essential skills that are required, and we celebratory session at the end where we also have some certificates that are given to the ambassadors to mark the end of this training. And then there are materials at the end, supplementary materials in the appendix. So depending on your context, you can come up with a referral directory of where PrEP services are offered within your context, and their key terms, and then their resources at the end of this training manual. Next slide, please. So now on the ambassador toolkit, remember I said there's the facilitation is divided into 3 parts. There's the first part is the facilitation materials with the tips for the facilitators. The second part is the actual training manual. And then the third part is the ambassador toolkit, which is the booklet that I referred to that peers can refer to. Some of the resources that are found in the toolkit talk about HIV/AIDS, the myths and facts. So they have a list of what some of the myths that are there around PrEP, and then it then gives you the facts. What's the fact to that myth? And then it's got another interesting activity, as it were, that talks about the difference between oral PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis, PrEP, and ART, given that they are all ARV-based drugs. What is the difference between the 3? So it really breaks it down for the peers so that they're able to communicate that better to their peers. The ambassadors are able to communicate it better to their peers because oftentimes people are confusing oral PrEP with PrEP and ART, so that breaks it down. And then the other resource that's there, tips for using oral PrEP. How can you use oral PrEP? What are some of the tips that ambassadors can share with their peers so that they can start on PrEP if they think PrEP is for them, and they can also continue on PrEP. Next slide, please. I think, yeah, that was the last slide. Thank you so much. Over to you, Katie.
Thanks so much, Definite. Okay, I'd like to turn things over to Trudy Nuno from the EPIC program in Ghana.
Thank you very much, Casey. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. So on the PrEP champions in Ghana, just a brief background. So PEPFAR is providing the meeting, target, and maintaining epidemic control. That is EPIC in Ghana, and EPIC is focusing on PrEP and HIV self-testing. So Ghana, please, can I have the next slide, please? Ghana started PrEP implementation among key populations, that's FSWs, MSMs, and transgender people in FY21, that is in August FY21, with 2 key partners, West African AIDS Foundation and West Africa Project to Combat AIDS, who are the principal recipients of KP program from Global Fund in Ghana. So for PrEP champions, we started recording high PrEP discontinuation rates between January and March FY22 when we started in August. And because of this necessitated the need for us to introduce the PrEP Champions program in Ghana. And so why was the PrEP Champions needed in Ghana? First, to raise awareness and drive demand creation for PrEP. So through virtual and in-person sharing of PrEP information and personal experiences of PrEP benefits with their peers and champions to help to refute myths and misconceptions, come out with the facts around PrEP. They were also formed to address high discontinuation rates, and through that, they mobilized their peers, encourage effective use of PrEP among key populations, also follow up on PrEP users to ensure that they return for their 1-month refill and multi-month dispensing. So PrEP champions were also working directly with lay counselors that we have trained for community-based PrEP refill. And so this is the purpose why we formed the PrEP Champions in Ghana and rolled out the PrEP Champions program in Ghana. Next slide, please. Planning. So how did we start the whole concept, the concept of PrEP Champions? How did it begin in Ghana? Ghana, as we refer to it as the Jumpstart Strategy for PrEP, we are providing, EPIC is providing the above site support to the national response for the national scale-up. And so we set up the PrEP and Implementation Committee. That is the national one that meets on a monthly basis to share progress on PrEP, share lessons learned, best practices, address challenges, and find solutions to the challenges. So with this PrEP Champions program, we first engaged the committee and secured approval. After that, we developed a draft document on PrEP Champion for criteria for selection, including roles and modalities for their engagement, and also shared with the National AIDS Control Program and received approval on this document. Next slide, please. Who qualifies to be a PrEP champion in Ghana? So per the criteria that we shared with the National AIDS Control Program, any member of a key population, that is FSW, MSM, transgender people with personal experience using PrEP, at least 3 months, will qualify to be a PrEP champion. Must be voluntarily willing to advocate on the effectiveness of PrEP and its importance to KPs. Must be bilingual. You should be able to speak English and also one popular local language. Must be willing to share personal experiences virtually and in person. And there's no requirement to read and write. However, since they are expected to share personal experiences on social media, such skills are valuable. Next slide, please. So how did we select our PrEP champions in Ghana? We identified interested individuals and they were interviewed to ascertain their capabilities and qualifications using the criteria that we set. PrEP champions were selected, and then we conducted training for the 4 selected PrEP champions. We did this with only one partner, that is West African AIDS Foundation, as I mentioned. So I'm sharing what West African AIDS Foundation did, and they selected 4 PrEP champions, 2 FSWs and 2 MSM, using the adapted version of the HIV prevention ambassador training. We also agreed on terms and modalities of engagement with the PrEP champions and signed an agreement document, that's a contract, with clearly stated roles and modalities for their engagement. Next slide, please. So as this was an afterthought, as I mentioned, we started in August. We saw that we were recording high discontinuation rate between January and March. So in March, we brought on board the PrEP Champions program. And so we were behind schedule due to time constraint. We could not cover the full content of the HIV prevention ambassador training. We only had a half-day training for our PrEP champions. And to ensure that we address the unique needs of each target population or specific population, we divided them into specific populations and engage each specific population in the training. Next slide, please. So the training content as adapted, we looked at PrEP, HIV, ART, PEP information, roles and modalities for their engagement, community mobilization strategies, that's in-person, effective social media strategies, and social media reach tools, and effective communication and counseling skills. You know, these are PrEP users who have discontinued and they need to be counseled on the need for them to restart PrEP. So we also went through the clarification of misconceptions and facts and questions, and we addressed their questions on these misconceptions. Next slide, please. So what were the roles of the PrEP champions? They were to share experiences in person through one-on-one or small group sections on the use of PrEP, its side effects and benefits. They were also supposed to support the lay counselors by mobilizing PrEP users for community refill. So mobilization was key. They have to identify the PrEP users, mobilize them for their 1 month refill and also multi-month dispensing. They were also to share experiences on benefits of adhering to PrEP on virtual platforms, mostly through posts of write-ups, videos, using videos of themselves or audio recordings, sharing testimonies on these platforms. And they also participated in monthly review meetings and submitted monthly reports on advocacy engagement. Next slide, please. So what support did we provide for PrEP champions? They are volunteers and we needed to support them to motivate them to undertake their roles and achieve results. So we provided them with initial training and also continuous orientation on PrEP and guidance on content to articulate. Through the monthly review meetings, we were doing that, providing the continuous orientation. We provided them with monthly stipend to support their communication and transport allowance. So they didn't receive anything for their LOEs, but also we gave them something for their travel and transport and communication, not for their LOEs. Monthly review meetings to review PrEP champions activities to ascertain the effectiveness of the PrEP champions engagements, discuss best practices, share challenges, and identify solutions. And continuous mentoring and coaching to be able to package testimonies that they will be able to share on social media platforms, testimonies on the PrEP benefits, refute myths and misconceptions by other PrEP users who have experienced some side effects. Next slide, please. So let me share some best practices on our PrEP Champions program. We started quite late, and for now, we are now starting FY22, but we have some best practices to share. Provide motivational incentives such as branded t-shirts, communication and travel allowance, check-ins and continuous capacity building programs to encourage PrEP champions and challenge them to be their best. It is very important that you do that. Train PrEP champions in HIV self-testing. This is something that we also did. We trained all PrEP champions. It was part of the training. The adapted manual, we included training on PrEP champions on HIV self-testing and have them refer negative clients for PrEP. So once they are doing the peer-mediated service, assisted or unassisted, they follow up, and once you are non-reactive, they also refer you for PrEP services or other testing based on national situation and testing guidelines. Next slide, please. So this is images. I'm just showing some images of PrEP champions. You see a PrEP champion in her t-shirt in the community engaging a PrEP user. This is a group session of a PrEP champion engaging PrEP users in a group session conversation. Next slide, please. So best practices, I'm continuing the best practices. Support PrEP champions with their advocacy through development of videos, audio recordings, and linkage to peer educators has been useful in reaching more experience they are sharing, and they are able to share it on international agencies and other implementing partners to evaluate their experiences and highlight their commitments, while also creating opportunities for them to learn more and increase motivation. And this is something that we have been doing with our PrEP champions. They participate in partners learning exchanges. They participated with that one with Eswatini, PrEP learning network. This morning, we have one of them also on this platform. So we engage them in learning exchanges, and this creates opportunities for them to learn more and increase motivation. Next slide, please. So moving forward, what is the way forward for PrEP champions in Ghana for FY22? For PrEP champions have been effective in linking to new clients to PrEP, conducting follow-ups on clients due for refills, and ensuring that they receive their refills. So for FY22, as we continue with West African AIDS Foundation, and I must say that this is a private sector engagement project because WAF has a private clinic that they operate. We are going to use the adapted version of the PrEP champion ambassadors training, and we have already started. We are engaging a technical expert to provide technical assistance to WAF to review and adapt the manual to the local context to include lessons learned from FY22 PrEP champions implementation. Intensify PrEP champions activities. We are increasing the number of our PrEP champions with WAF to 11. So we'll have 4 FSWs, we'll have 5 MSM, and this time we are also including 2 transgender people as PrEP champions. Enhanced leakage of non-reactive KPs to PrEP by PrEP champions. That is, we are going to train all the 11 PrEP champions to conduct HIV self-testing, refer and ensure non-reactive KPs are supported to start PrEP and receive PrEP refill. We are also going to increase financial support to PrEP champions. As we started in FY21, it was an afterthought, and so the budget was very small, but now we are going with the going rate for volunteers for PrEP champions. We also support PrEP champions to overcome negative influences from peers who may not support PrEP champions. Lastly, we are providing the above site support, and we will also explore the possibility of PrEP champions who are really committed to also be trained as lay counselors and probably conduct community refill of PrEP. Next slide, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Trudy. That was great. Okay, I wanted to turn things over to Fifi Asamoah to share his experience as a PrEP champion. So Fifi, over to you. And feel free to use video or not, whatever is easiest and works best with your connection.
All right, okay. Thank you, Casey, and good day, everyone. Good day, and I'm Fifi Asamoah. I'm a PrEP champion at WAF Ghana. So I first heard of the PrEP champion initiative on one of my regular STD testing appointments. So I went in to see Dr. Guru for my checkup, and during the process, she brought it up in our chat and asked if I was interested. And I said, oh, yes, I am. So she filled me up on the details and I took it up from there. So with regards to my work, I create audios every week. And each week I have a different content that goes in the audio. Every week, I may talk about my experiences on one, and the other, I talk about the benefits of PrEP. So I talk about my experiences before using PrEP and after using PrEP. What got me into using PrEP and what has been my experiences so far using PrEP. I share with my audience, and I share the benefits of PrEP. What are the benefits that I have enjoyed since using PrEP? And I also debunk myths, common myths that they may find that will deter them from using PrEP. So I share my knowledge on such myths and explain to them in detail what's actually going on. And when there are STD programs such as free screening programs that the health center is organizing. I also share information on that as well. So I make an audio on that, and I also share flyers on the social media platforms that I'm on. So, and I reach out to queer people on social platforms such as Telegram. And I do this by joining a group. I have a group of over 400 participants. So when I make my audios, I post them on there, and they do engage as well. I find some of them private messaging me to find out more about the health center and how they can be on PrEP. So it's been quite productive. It's been quite productive on Telegram. I also have a group on WhatsApp. I share them on there, and I share the audios and other information to some of my queer friends on there. So I share to them privately, and the response has been quite positive. And I'm building a social media presence on Twitter as well. So once I'm done, I'll be able to organize Twitter spaces where I organize a live chat room and discuss my experiences and benefits of using PrEP. Twitter spaces will be very, very effective because you get to talk to these people live, and they can also join in on the conversation. So that's one thing I'm working on, using Twitter spaces. And last but not the least, I use Grindr. I use Grindr to reach out to people as well to get on PrEP. And that was initially my first point of contact. So I used Grindr to get people. They text me on there, and I refer them to the health center, and they are being put on PrEP. I also have one-on-one discussions with my queer friends and acquaintances. So when it comes to supporting PrEP clients to adhere, I do make it a point to do a follow-up. You know, when it comes to being a PrEP champion, it's more of the aftercare. It's all about the aftercare. So you need to do a follow-up. So I try it as much as possible. After every PrEP client visits the health center, I do a follow-up. So either by calling or a text, I do that to find out how they're actually feeling. Do they still want to go on with this? Since they started taking PrEP, are there any side effects? Do they have any doubts? What's going on in their lives? I try to create a relationship between them so they can feel free to talk to me how they're feeling, whether they want to back out or not. So that's been helpful. So I do a follow-up. And another way of helping PrEP clients to adhere is trying to introduce them to event-based PrEP, because I've noticed from my follow-ups, they find it difficult to adhere because some of them just can't help taking these pills every day. It's hectic for them. Some, it may be because they don't have sex regularly, so they don't find the point in taking these pills every day. Some just don't like taking pills, so the idea of taking them every day, it X them out. So they come in for them, all right. They go in 1 month or two and they stop. So event-based PrEP as an alternative method is very, very, very effective. And I educate them on this. And with this, I believe it will help them to actually stay on PrEP. So introducing them to this method is another way of me helping them adhere to PrEP usage. And when it comes to the challenges, the number one challenge will be difficulty in getting clients enrolled on a PrEP program. That's the number one challenge. And then through that, I realized the reason why some clients were not getting enrolled was they find it difficult to visit the clinic for our services. You have a chat with a client, everything is going on well. Then the next thing they say is, oh, can I meet you somewhere so that I get the drugs? Can you meet me somewhere? I'm not feeling comfortable going to the clinic. How are the people like? Do they know about this? How are they professional? Are they this? So you get the general message. People are just not comfortable going over to the clinic to get the drugs. It is a number one challenge as well. Them going to the clinic, because if you don't go over to the clinic, there's no way for you getting PrEP. There's no way for you getting PrEP. You need to go over to the clinic. So if they don't go over to the clinic, we are not getting people to be enrolled on the program. So one way that we try to keep the effect of this is talking to them, giving them assurance, and telling them how private, confidential, and safe this process is. So through this, some of them actually make it to the clinic and they get enrolled. And when they actually get enrolled, they tell their friends as well, and they also come. So it's just by reaffirmation, just telling them they are okay, they are fine, they are safe, and I even go with them personally. I go with them to the clinic to tell them, yo, it is 100% safe. You are protected, it's confidential, and you don't need to worry. And that has helped so far. And another problem that that was a third question was adherence. It's a really big problem. They tend not to adhere. You do a follow-up, you call in, and then they tell you, I can't continue with this. Even before they even get on PrEP, you call some of them to tell them, oh, are you going to the clinic this week? Because we scheduled for you to go to the clinic this week. Then they don't even give you answers. They don't give you straight answers, reasons. They just tell you, oh, I'm busy, or oh, I forgot. I plan to do this so and so. And I'll give you a call. And you don't hear from them. And this initiative, we are not out here to force anyone. At your own will, at your own space, you should feel free to make the decision. We will educate you and encourage you, but at the long run, it's your choice. We can't force anyone. So when you get such responses like this, there's nothing much to do but to just educate them and help them understand that this is very good, effective, and if you can't take it every day, there's an alternative. You can take it when you want to have sex, 2 to 24 hours before sex. You educate them on event-based PrEP. So I think the event-based PrEP will help eliminate this PrEP, will help eliminate PrEP non-adherence largely. Event-based PrEP, that it will help eliminate non-adherence to a larger extent. So that's one of the strategies I'm using to keep this effect of non-adherence common in PrEP clients. So thank you very much for listening to me. And this is all I have to say. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Fifi. That was really great to hear about your experiences and the role that you're playing in the program in Ghana.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'd like to open it up to the group for any questions.
We did have a question in the chat. I just wanted to flag that Nish has asked, thank you for a great presentation, Fifi. Do you have any feedback on the accessibility of PrEP? How easy is it for your friends and followers to access PrEP?
Oh, Thank you for the question. So on the feedback of accessibility, yes, it's been quite great, you know. It's been quite great because the workers at the health center have availed themselves to servicing providing their services to our clients. So even through a reach of a call, you don't even need to come to the clinic. Just call and arrange an appointment, schedule an appointment. Then they know that you are going to come in at this time. And when you are coming in, if you don't know the place, they will give you directions to get there. You get there, and they know you are the one that they're going to attend to, and they attend to you and get you on PrEP. So accessibility has been very great. And since we have two locations, we have one office at Hacho, and then we have another office at Akwetiman. So those who are far away from one location don't have to go all the way to that one. So when we are talking to them about PrEP, educating them and trying and letting them know where they can get PrEP, we make them know that there are two locations. Based on where you are, you can easily access PrEP over here. So those who are closer to one, they go over there and they can get PrEP easily. So its accessibility has been great so far.
Thanks. Dr. Moses from Liberia, go ahead. I think your hand is raised.
Okay, thank you very much. My question is for Asamoah, and it is because of the interesting work that he is doing. And also I have taken notes of the challenge he mentioned about these people. So I have the clients that he can come in contact with. I have two questions for you, Mr. Asamoah. Okay. How many clients have you linked to services and over what given period? For example, monthly, yearly, how many? And what is the general profile of these clients? That's the first question. The second question is, what are you doing to address this, I call it default or dropout rate? For example, before you engage, like we do this pre-counseling, to consider the magnitude of failing to continue, and then the implications it has with the efficacy of the medicines. Thank you, and over.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. I think I grabbed the first two questions. So when I'm done with those ones, I'll ask you for clarification on the third one. So the PrEP initiative went on for 3 months. And over the course of 3 months, I've been able to put over 45 people on PrEP. They enrolled and they are on PrEP. And about the general profiling, these people are young adults. These people are young adults. Most of them are students. I should say 80% of them are students. 20% of them are the working class, because I get requests from people who are in the schools and who are studying in school, and I hardly get requests from the working class. Even when you get a request and you follow up, they tell you, I'm busy, work, I'll find time. Most of my clients that have enrolled on the program are students. So and they are young adults. And I want clarification on the third question, please, if you can come in again.
Okay, you mentioned some of the clients can start and then stop, and to get them to continue, you have challenges around that. So what I'm saying is, I am going back to our HIV testing program where we do pre-counseling and post-counseling. And in the pre-counseling, before the person can start the program, it's better to tell them the pros and the cons so that they make informed decision to start the program. And then that when they start, they will continue, because there are implications for people now continuing start like that. The efficacy of the medicine can be compromised, and when the pathogen picks it, it can be transmitted. It can be another public health issue. So I'm just asking you whether you can take this kind of approach into consideration to address this dropout rate, so that people, when people start, they will continue, they will retain, they will be retained in services. That they should consider all these, the benefits and the challenges and the importance of continuing. I hope I made myself clear, so that they make informed decisions, and when they start, they will continue, which is very important for us. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yes, I think to an extent we do that, because before you get enrolled, we tell you need to do regular kidney tests, and you need to do regular kidney tests, because when you're on PrEP, it may have an effect on your kidney. So you do regular tests to check your creatinine levels. So we are being told of all that. You have to make certain tests to check if you are okay. These are some of the effects it can have on you. And yes, I think we are doing okay on that part, but we will actually do more, as you said, try to incorporate more on that level. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Fifi. There are a number of questions coming in. A question from B about the community refills. Is there any HIV testing done or STI testing at the time of refill?
Yes, there is. When you come in for your refill, the first thing that is done is STI testing. Is very, very important. So when you are giving PrEP and you are coming for your refill, whether a month or 3 months, in 3 months' time, because after a month, first when you are started on PrEP, you are giving a bottle. You are giving a bottle for a month to check your tolerance level and to check your adherence level. So after a month, you come in for another refill. So when you come in for that refill, we do an STI testing because some clients, when they come in before being enrolled, there's a test that is done, and the test may come out as a false negative. It may come out because maybe they may be in their window period. So when taking for a month and they come in for a refill, we have to do another test. So when we do it, it shows their actual status. So when it comes out as positive, we then put them on ARTs immediately. And when it comes out negative, then we now give you your 3-month supply. You get 3 months supply. So when you get it, you take PrEP for 3 months. When you're coming for a refill, we do STI testing as well. We do another STI testing to check how tolerant you've been, and if just to do control, just to do checks and make sure everything is fine. So we sure do STI testing at any period of time during refills. We do STI testing.
Okay, thank you. And Trudy and Fifi, there is a follow-up question from B in the chat that maybe you could respond by chat.
Okay.
And I just, we have a few hands raised, and after these hands, then I think we'll move into the smaller group breakout discussions. So Gaston, please go ahead.
Hi, it's mostly a comment and not necessarily a question. So I remember Fifi said that there was reluctance to go to the clinic to get refills and so forth. So I think it poses a larger question in general, which is the demedicalization of PrEP. So I think we need to think about, how to do this and also use differentiated PrEP service delivery models to help clients wherever they are, and to make sure that they get the services and don't necessarily have to go to the clinic to get those services. Over.
Excellent point, Gaston. Gaston, I also just messaged you. If you, would you mind reading that question that came in from a French speaker, please?
Sure. So the question was that in DRC in general, one of the major problem for PrEP in serodiscordant couples is the disclosure of HIV status to the other partner. So he wants to know how this is being dealt with in the Ghana program.
Trudy, would you like to respond to that, or Fifi, either of you?
Hello, Casey. Please, can he repeat the question? My line was just breaking. I just want him to repeat the question. Thank you.
The question is, in DRC, one of the major, problem with PrEP implementation in serodiscordant couples is that there is no disclosure of HIV status from the positive partner. So how is this dealt with in Ghana?
Thank you for your question. I will call on our nurse guru to handle this, because she has been handling this conversation. Guru, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, so please answer this question for us. Thank you.
Yes, I'll answer that, and then I would want to support some of the questions that was given to Fifi. So my name is Guru. I'm a nurse at the facility, the health facility where Fifi received his PrEP, and where he also referred his peers for PrEP services. So when it comes to the discordant couples, we need the disclosure to take place, because we wouldn't be able to initiate someone on PrEP unless they know the need for it. We normally, the discordant couples we focus on, because it's a KP implementing program, it is partners of members of the key population who are HIV positive. But we have not initiated people where a disclosure hasn't happened. So though at times this can be difficult to disclose the person's HIV status, we encourage the client as much as possible, and then we support in the disclosure when that is wanted from the client. So yes, it can come as a challenge, but there are so many reasons why the disclosure is important. And if we want to initiate a negative partner on PrEP, we need that disclosure to take place. So that is how we do that. I also want to answer support Fifi's answer in some of the other questions. So in addition to Fifi's work, where he do a lot of advocacy and he talk about PrEP and he refers people for PrEP services, he also does the HIV self-testing service. All the people that are initiated are also receiving services from a trained healthcare worker or a nurse at our facility. So after Fifi has done his part, we also come in and we support him providing the same counseling he has done, making sure that they truly understand the benefits of PrEP and then also the need of it, to make sure that they take those informed decisions before they are initiated. However, though this is done, we do realize that a lot of people really want it and they come for it. But then somehow along the line, despite continuous follow-up counseling, they choose to discontinue. But after discontinuation as well, we keep following up on them to make sure. Some people do discontinue because they consider that they are no more at a substantial risk. So that is sort of a valid reason for discontinue. But we do let them know of the effect of not adhering to the PrEP, how they are supposed to adhere to it. There was also another question in terms of STI testing. So what we do, it's not really the it's not the STI testing. We do a symptomatic STI screening anytime they come for PrEP refill. And then we do HIV testing at every refill visit. Okay, if there are any other questions, I'm here and I'm available. Thank you.
Thank you, Guro. Moses, I see your hand is down. Has your question been answered? Okay, well, thank you, everyone. I think we should move ahead. We're going to go into breakout rooms. I think given the time, we likely won't have time for the report out afterwards, but it would be great to continue this discussion about HIV prevention ambassadors in smaller groups. So we will be transitioning everyone into smaller breakout rooms. When you get into your room, please do a round of brief introductions. There will be a facilitator in each session. We won't worry about the reporter today, but there will be a number of guiding questions, or we can just continue from this conversation. Next slide, please. To choose the breakout rooms, you will see a little pop-up when Casey initiates the breakout rooms, and you can choose which to join and click yes to join, and then click leave room to return to the main session. But I think Casey will probably pull us all out when it is time to regroup and close out the session for today. And here are the breakout room discussions. So feel free to click the breakout room button at the bottom of your screen. And you will see something to get invited to rooms or to join which room you're in.
Okay, it looks like people are making their way into the rooms. Is anyone still in the main room and has not been able to find a breakout room yet? Just let me know in the chat whether you want to be in French or in English, and I can move you to the correct room. I see a few people Hi, Audrey and Miriam. Would you like me to place you in a French breakout room, or did you just want to hang out here? Okay, and if there's anyone else in this who can hear my voice right now who hasn't been able to join a breakout room yet, just let me know and I will put you in either French or in English, depending on what you would prefer.
Hi, Casey.
Hello.
This is Trudy. I'm leaving for the Global HIV retreat. I have to join them again.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Casey. And I think we've had a good section.
I totally agree.
Yeah. All right. We'll
that
talk
was great.
later.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, Bina. I see you are not yet in a breakout room. Do you prefer French or English?
Hi, I prefer to join the French group.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I've added you to the French group. If you go to the three little dots on your control bar for Zoom next to the end call or leave button, you should see a little notification for breakout rooms. Does anyone else need to be moved, just let me know.
Me, I want to move for the French group.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, I just moved you. Just click the 3 dots beside the end call button and you will see a notification there for breakout rooms.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope everybody was able to continue that discussion in the small breakout rooms and dive in a little bit more to other programs, ambassador training experiences, and how they use PrEP champions within different programs throughout West Africa. I'm sorry that we don't have time to continue this discussion and report out on those smaller group meetings. But thank you so much, everyone, for all of the rich discussion and questions that we had today. I just wanted to go through a few wrap-up slides before we end. The presentation and the webinar recording, aside from the small group breakouts, will be available on PrEP Watch in the next week or so you can always access it there. There's other resources for oral PrEP introduction available on PrEP Watch as well, in both English and in French, particularly the Ambassador Training Toolkit that Definite went through today. And I think there's links to that resource in the chat as well, and also the Plan for PrEP Toolkit that goes through other product introduction resources as well. Next slide. Oh, and in terms of upcoming sessions, we are going to talk about provider training and PrEP provider training on November 17th for our next session. And I did want to particularly thank Trudy Nunu, Casey Bishop, and Chris Obermeyer from FHI 360 for all of the session coordination and organizing today. Thank you very much to Definite and Fifi for the presentations. And also to our interpreters, Miriam and Audrey, who helped ensure that this presentation was available in French as well. So thank you all, everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you all back here in November.
Also, a huge thanks to our small group facilitators, Melanie and Gaston and Olivia and Patrick.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Merci. Merci à vous.
Merci.
Bye.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Merci. Au revoir. Merci.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Au revoir. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.